Ashanti, the capital of the Ashanti Empire, in the 1800s, and you want to buy something. I hope you brought your scale. Trade at that time and place wasn't conducted with coins or cowries, but with gold dust. Using gold dust allowed for greater flexibility in transactions, but it also meant the transactions required a great deal of expertise. Both the buyer and seller will bring a pair of scale and a set of weights, negotiating until they were able to weigh out a fair price. The smallest scale were known as wind scale. Since they were so delicate and the slightest breeze could disrupt them, you had to be careful not to sneeze during the measuring process so as not to send the grains of gold flying. Any gold that fell on the ground automatically became property of the Ashanti state to be swept up and spent in times of crisis. Spilling out the contents of a well-stacked footstool, you find an astonishing miscellany of little figures such as chameleons, lions, mudfish, scorpions, miniature drummers, kings, hunters, executioners, geometric books adorned with stripes, swirls, sandals, looms, shields, and game boards, perfect replicas of bird feet, peanuts, crab claws, which are all rendered in brass. These were the mramo or weights, which is also called abramo. Looking at these pictures, I'm sure you're wondering, how is this a scale? Well, the level of detail makes them seem much larger than they really are. Most are just a bit larger than a Monopoly piece. Tiny, intricate, and precise. Crafting these miniature sculptures requires serious skill. The artisans needed to get the weight exactly right so they could be used for trading. One sign of an authentic weight is that a bit has been filed off after casting in order to correct the weight. Did you know that there is more to these tiny works of art than their measurements? Well, they are also used to send messages. Each design suggests a reference to a proverb. Consider a pair of conjoined crocodiles. 2 heads, 2 tails, but only 1 stomach. Demonstrating that 2 crocodiles can have 1 common stomach, but when they are eating, they fight over the food. In other words, while all the members of a family may have the same interest, it won't stop them from squabbling. In 1896, Otumfuo Prempeh I was forced into exile by the British. That same year, the British colonial government outlawed the use of mramo. That complex system, an indispensable part of everyday life in the Ashanti Empire, was lost. But the proverbs remain, passed down from one generation to the next, to shed some light on the meaning of these small treasures. For example, the elephant weight refers to the saying, "Wudi osunwe tria, insuo enkawo." One who follows the track of the elephant never gets wet from the dew in the bushes. This suggests that the safest place to find oneself is behind the protective influence of a chief. A bird with a knot for a body is linked to the expression "anuma yembonopo." We do not tie it in a knot. Here, the bird is associated with a wise man who cannot be fooled or confused. Figuratively, the phrase "tied in knots." The bird's foot. The phrase "akụkọ nine tiaba na enkumuba." The fowl's foot steps on the chicken, but does not kill it. This refers to the responsibilities of individuals, such as chiefs or parents, who must assert their authority within varying degrees of severity to maintain peace and order. How are gold weights made? Gold weights are cast in brass using the lost wax process. The form would be modeled in purified beeswax, coated in a clay slip, and then encased in a larger clay ball. When heated in a furnace, the molten wax will drain out, leaving behind a perfect indentation of the model. In Kumasi, the Opokowari II Museum KNUST has over 100 pieces of these Akan gold weights, which was donated by Peggy Appiah's family in 2004. Who is Peggy Appiah? Peggy Appiah was a daughter of a British chancellor. She defied the conventions of her time by marrying an Ashanti political leader. She went on to become an author and a revered figure. She adopted Ghana as her homeland. Peggy Appiah was a collector. She had long collected Ashanti gold weights made of brass for weighing gold, and often bore at illustrating proverbs. So next time you look at these unassuming weights, remember the stories they hold, stories of trade, tradition, and the enduring creativity of the Akan people. This is the Akan gold weights, the story of the Ashanti brass.
I'm